Alright, we're back with Fiend Folio. I still have not won a run with the Fiend. Dude, let's just give it a try, okay? Let's just give it a try. I'm in a good mood right now. Make sure I got chat over here. Let's give the Fiend a shot. Hopefully they got the fireball already enabled here. We may not, you know what, because I turned the mod on and off. I bet we don't have the fireball enabled. No, they're totally enabled. All right, how about that? Send it. Good mood, time to ruin it. Hey, what the? I actually think that Firemind is still really bad for us, even though you might think that there's no synergy, or there's like a synergy there. I think it's actually an anti-synergy. I got baited. How's YouTube handling VOD Isaac instead of Bespoke Isaac? That's where you're wrong. There's Bespoke Isaac and there's VOD Isaac. It does both. It does both. What the heck? It looks like Elizabeth Banks in the Hunger Games. Hey! Get you a man that could do both. But I will say, and you might be watching this on YouTube, statistically speaking, it's actually probable you're watching this on YouTube. Fiend Folio is doing really well on YouTube right now, so thank you, thank you. I think it just, I mean, first off, the mod is amazingly done, and then I think secondarily, it just shows you the appetite for, like, anything new in Isaac. Like, people are in the Sahara Desert of Isaac content, and they're, like, just praying for, like, a solitary sip of water. And you know what? Fiend Folio? Oh, well, we're probably gonna die here. Fiend Folio isn't a sip of water. It's like a sip of, Dom Perignon. This is delectable, but complex. Delectable, but complex. Had to be done. Save me! It makes me wish, like, I don't think I will do more modded content prior to Repentance, but it made me wish that I had done more modded content earlier than even this, because, like, you can tell people were starved for it. They're like, love watching Isaac, just can't even look at a single still frame of the game anymore. You've played so much. Literally, even the slightest amount of new content will get me invested in it, and I said no for too long. A little, you know, I have a certain amount of stubbornness. I wouldn't disagree with that. That's why I'm trying to do new stuff, you know? The flip side... Oh, come on. At least we're not gonna blow up in here. Oh yeah, that's cool. It has a unique stem cell sprite on the Fiend. That is neat. I can't get a fireball tier. Oh, unless there's an enemy. I could have farmed him, maybe. But, a bomb, please. A bomb. What I was gonna say is, you know, the flip side of being stubborn is that it meant that if you loved the series, it stuck around forever, which has definitely been the case. Bombs are key. Puberty. But you know, now, because we're trying new stuff on the regular, stuff's getting axed left, right, and center as soon as it doesn't work a couple times. Like, I think, you know, I've kind of been dragging my heels, not because I, like, don't have an answer. Or not because I don't want to answer, but because I genuinely, like, didn't have an answer. But yeah, I think that probably, in all likelihood, I'm done with Death Stranding. I've been having, or like when I was playing it at least, I've been like having fun with it, but at the same time, you know, it's just a combination of like long and not really like analytically doing well. Is kind of, you know, I want to get that time back, let's put it that way. It's not for everybody, but it sucks because, like, the people who like it a lot. And then, you know, the secondary thing on top of that is that I was actually enjoying it. Although, it kind of had the kiss of death, because, like, the stream, the last time I played it, I wasn't paying close enough attention. I'll tell you, it's my own fault. And I got swallowed up in BT City for, like, you know, what felt like the entire time. And I was just like, it's kind of annoying. And then that ended up leaving, like, a bad taste in my mouth. And I was like, I won't play it for a while. And then I was just like, why would I go back? At this point, I guess. But it's a good game, for sure. Maybe I'll, in my downtime, I'll watch, like, a supercut. And then figure out what the heck was going on in the game. Excuse me. Are you gonna play Disco Elysium in March? No. Again, no disrespect to Disco Elysium. It's just... It's a lot of game, you know? It's a lot of game. It's too much game for me. Now that it has voice acting, like, it's more likely than ever that I would play it, but it's still a 0% chance. I don't know how you reconcile that, but... I would like an algaes, please. What does that mean, though? Well, I mean, like, it's like 30+ hours long with a ton of reading. Which, that's a lot of game in my world. Okay, we got algaes. It was there the whole time. Who would have thought? The gauze? I'll take that. We should have held it. We should have held. Yeah, because if you hold the gauze, you can get an extra burst of HP. We gotta start treating this character like the Lost. Why not just employ the philosophy... Oh, Red Robin, 333. Thank you for the gifted subscriptions. Thank you, thank you. Why not employ the philosophy where you just play like a random game to completion every single week? I live and die by the variety, you know? I want to... My core, let's call it a mission statement, is like, if you're around, I want to give people a reason to come back like every single day. I don't want you to, and you know, it's just different strokes for different folks. I don't want you to micromanage and be like, oh, today he's playing this game, but on Thursdays he plays this one, so I'll come back on Thursday, but I'm not like a Wednesday guy. I want there to be something there, you know, just about every stream, which is why I prefer not to do like a stream that's just 100% the same thing over and over. Also, I think it keeps things like more interesting. To have streams that have like a pivot point in them at some point. Not everybody agrees, obviously. Like when it's your favorite series that kind of gets canceled because nobody's watching it. You're like, why don't you just sacrifice 1.5 weeks of stream to finish this just for me? And I'm like, you know. I actually saw a comment that I related to a lot, which was like, you know, there are streamers who don't They play whatever they quote-unquote want to play. And that's, you know, for better or for worse. Like, I think Sips seems like... where Sips and I are so similar, but we also have, like, super different philosophies. Like, Sips is like, you know, if my viewer count is, like, 50% lower or something like that, you know, what do I care as long as I enjoy playing it? And I'm, like, the opposite. And someone in... Someone on Reddit got it exactly right. They said, like, for better or worse, NL is the consummate professional. Which means, like, the level of consistency in the content, in my opinion at least, is, like, off the charts. Like, when I say there's gonna be something, there's something there. But then the flip side is, especially lately, I've treated things much more like a business. So, like, if it doesn't work out, then it, you know, it's not necessarily long for this world. But we gave Death Stranding, like, a real shot. I mean, we played it on the stream, like, 8 times or something like that. It wasn't like we tried it once and went like, it's not really working. And I did see a comment that was like, you know, we can't trust you to finish games anymore. This is, you know, again, you're not really being rude. I think Death Stranding is like the only story game we didn't play to completion in like 5 years. There were years where it was like, oh, NL cancels things all the time and doesn't tell it. We completely bucked that culture. What about Subnautica? Look, okay, I'm not ranting for 120 seconds, okay? We beat Subnautica. I don't know why so many people are like, you didn't beat Subnautica. We beat Subnautica. What about Dark Souls? We beat Dark Souls too! Anyway, no. I'm not starting the timer. I'm just answering the question, because, like, you know, people seem to be under, like, the false pretense. And yeah, if anything, people, they were like, please just quit Subnautica when you get bugged. Please just quit Dark Souls 2, we're not having fun. It's one of those things, though, where I'm like, I feel like people, Dan and I have talked about it a bunch, but, like, we don't know, people don't know what they want. Like, in their head, they're like, I want you to finish everything. But then when you get 10% into a long game that they're not enjoying, they're like, please, God, just kill it. So I'm trying to do what you don't have the strength to. Which is recognize that the things that you think you want are very different from the things that you want when you actually find yourself in the moment. It is a rant. It's a rant. It's not an anti-chat rant, though. That's true. I didn't, no, I didn't eggplant Yama. But I did see the eggplant child in Spelunky 2. I think we're good to go. Please just pivot to how bad of a movie Lucy is. Lucy is, it's unfathomably bad. Is that, I'm trying to think. That's Luc Besson, right? I didn't know you were a healer. Who directed The Fifth Element? That's Luc Besson as well, right? Also Luc Besson. Man, he makes some garbage, huh? Like, The Fifth Element is great. Lucy is terrible. Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets is horrible. It's legitimately one of the worst science fiction films I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Lucy is worse, I think. I loved Lucy. Do you love Lucy, or are you making a reference to the sitcom? it's one will get you further than the other. You really like Lucy, like when at the end of the movie when she becomes so smart she merges with the internet? Wow, I wonder where he got that inspiration. See, I know some animes. I didn't hate it, but it was kind of meh. See, that's almost like more of a surprise to me. Like, I really just can't imagine somebody watching that movie and then being like, it was okay. Like, you really, like, you don't have a strong opinion about the outrageous things. I think it's one of those things, I see it a little bit like the movie The Fountain, but substantially worse. I do not like the movie The Fountain. I like Darren Aronofsky. I find The Fountain highly pretentious and up its own, you know what? Very visually interesting. But that's one where I'm like, you either love it or you hate it. I'm surprised Lucy's kind of not in the same camp, although, admittedly, The Fountain is a much more... It's a much more any positive adjective movie than you could possibly think of for Lucy. Forget about Lucy. Anyone else hate Dr. Seuss? No, we're not going there. We're not... Look, I have angered some of the Dr. Seuss stans. I get it, you know. Some people read Dostoevsky, and some people, they get to be in their, you know, their 30s, and the height of their literary experience is still Hop on Pop and 10 apples up on top. Maybe green eggs and ham if they want to challenge themselves a little bit. We're not talking about Dr. Seuss, okay? We're talking about Lucy. Stop trying to diss true literature. I did see, yeah, someone made an illustration of the Dr. Seuss joke book that I came up with that I thought was very good. Was it? Would you like to run with a ton? Have you ever? Would you go on a run with a ton for fun, son? This run actually has the chance. All it has to do, if it wants to get to that next level, we need one great defensive item. In particular, Holy Mantle. Holy Mantle would do it. Hermit? I think we're gone here. Or 9 lives. 9 lives could do it as well. Could you further explain your thoughts on Dostoevsky? I've only read... I've read... The Brothers Karamazov. Because isn't that like a little... Isn't The Brothers Karamazov a novella inside of Crime and Punishment or something? I read that in my first year of university for English class. And I read all of Notes from Underground, like 2 years ago. Okay, what's the one... We read a Dostoevsky passage in university. I thought it was The Brothers Karamazov. Maybe it's... Anyway, like, that was 14 years ago. And a couple of years ago, I read Notes from Underground. And, Notes from Underground, I found to be one of the most tedious pieces of literature I've ever read. But don't get me wrong, I can understand it. Like, I respected it as I was reading it, but I was also like, I actively am not enjoying myself. I finished it just to finish it. I don't want to do an extra floor. I don't want to do an extra floor. I mean, I only read, like... I got into literature. There was a book arc. I only read, like, 6 books during the book arc. I can tell you, of the ones I remember, I really enjoyed The Stranger. I thought The Stranger was a great book. And then I read Brave New World, and I was like, I didn't think it was terrible, but I didn't consider it like that much of a classic. Then I read The Old Man and the Sea, and I liked it a lot, to be honest with you. And I read a Vonnegut novel. I don't remember which one, now that I think about it. But I also thought that was good. I read it was Slaughterhouse 5, thank you. I read The Handmaid's Tale, and I thought that was great as well. And I read, really, like, the only book I didn't enjoy was Notes from Underground. I think we need to go a little deep. We need something better than this. D4... Look, I think our run is amazing right now, but if we D4'd ourselves into Holy Mantle, I think that might actually be, like, the only way you can get it. I think that might be the only way you can get it. I know, like, you're saying, like, the run looks amazing right now. It is, but we're still gonna die. Like, we need Holy Mantle or some kind of, like, respawn to get us there. I know we had amazing damage, but I really, like, with this character, because I'm so good at the game, you don't notice right now. You're like, you know, you're gonna win. You got so many good items. Nah. It's all about defense. We need the defense in order to win this run. Defense wins championships. Which is why we're fishing, like, super hard. Now, admittedly, our stats are friggin' junk, but we'll figure it out. We'll try at least. How we doing? We have a hermit card. Get ourselves out of a jam, possibly. These enemies are not impossible to dodge. Store up some tears. Get yourself ready. Beautiful. Beautiful damage. This is terrible. I've decided I want to leave. Decided I want to leave and build up a charge elsewhere. It's not enough damage. We need to get a battery. See, this isn't so bad. When's the next literature arc? You don't even want to know, because I'm in it right now. Like, I read half an hour to an hour every night before bed, but it's literally just like right now I'm reading Peter Lynch's Beating the Street. You know? What do you want me to say? And then after that, a mutual friend of Mouth and I recommended a book about, like, you know, because I complain about, like, work stuff in this group. He recommended a book to me because he works in management, and he's like, I don't know how relevant it's going to be to your job, but I see like a lot of parallels between what I read in this book and like what you know, you're complaining about. And I was like, you know what, then let's maybe I'll read that one next. Beautiful damage. What was the book? I don't know. It's literally like, it's like a management textbook. I don't remember the name. It's one of those ones that the cover is just like an arrow that's like pointed up or something like that. We're okay here. Please just let me get a battery charge. Yeah, I'm probably not going to read the, you know, Communist Manifesto or Das Kapital anytime soon. And I got nothing against it. It's just, you know, it's not on my reading list. Let's put it that way. Aren't you supposed to be bugging people on Twitter to read theory? Like, I'm not on Twitter, at least in the same spheres. Save your read theory comments for people that are receptive to it. Okay, give me my battery charge here. Give me my, I want my battery. Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, we just got Holy Mantle. It's exactly what I've been asking for. Now, the next step would be get an unbelievably good deal with the devil. An incredible deal with the devil would help me out a ton here. There's a rock tinted? Okay, let's go check it out. Just shout when you see it. Because I have no idea what I'm looking at here. When you say tinted before boss, do you mean get the tinted rock before the boss? Or do you mean there's a tinted rock in the room before the boss room? Reroll the item room. Alright, will do. Okay, next. Next question. Rate of Fire is horrible, but Holy Mantle is kind of like what we need here. Ah, there it is. 2 keys. That's not your fault, Chad. That's Isaac. Even though our rate of fire sucks, most of our damage is going to be done with the fires anyway. Don't shoot me. we can still get out of here. We can't leave. If we leave, we lose all of our hearts. At least we got some damage coming out here in the form of these familiars right now. Just hang out behind the rocks. Let the familiars do your dirty work. And don't let your heart rate go up too high. Because you're doing great. Look at that. We're doing just fine. Okay, deal with the angel could be extremely nice, but we really are looking for, like, Godhead. We're looking for one of the truly exceptional items. And I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to fight you. Alright, that was fine. That was fine. Easy, really. Who would win in a fight, Jason Statham or Bruce Willis? Literally, it would not even be close. Jason Statham would destroy Bruce Willis. Isn't Bruce Willis like 67 years old? I mean, Jason Statham is no spring chicken, but... Let me put it this way. Jason Statham shows his arms in movies. Bruce Willis, all of his leading roles now, he wears a leather jacket. If that doesn't tell you, you know, their respective shape right now, I don't know what would. And it's not a bad thing. I mean, he's in his 60s. Creep is undefeated, dude. Saved? Saved? Come on. Stay moving. Stay agile. Saved. Saved? He's not in his 80s. Come on. I don't think it's ageist to suggest that a man in his 60s versus an action star in his 40s is a little stacked towards the action star in his 40s. Bruce Willis learned. This is such a fun comment. It might be true, by the way, but it's a fun comment nonetheless. Doesn't Bruce Willis have Green Beret training from his time filming the movie Red? You mean the movie with Helen Mirren? The movie with octogenarian Helen Mirren? He might. I mean, there's a lot of people that have Green Beret training that are actually, you know, deceased as well. I don't think they could beat Jason Statham in a fight just because they, you know, learned how to put somebody in an armbar. Okay, there's a chance here. We desperately need Rate of Fire. Rate of Fire, and then still like 9 lives would go a long way. And actually some damage. Okay, so there's like a lot of things we could use. Yeah, he learned how to start a fire with 2 sticks. Now he's ready to take on the transporter. Is he Hobbs or Shaw? He's gotta be... I'm gonna guess that he's Shaw. He's Shaw. Okay. I knew it. I don't want that, but they do give you cool-looking sunglasses. It would look good on the thumbnail, let's put it that way. I don't think I want that either. We really need, like, demonstrably good items. This is not a good item, really, for us right now, but it's... Just because of the way this character works. Otherwise, I think I put it in the S tier. Not quite... Or maybe I put it in A. Not quite... 1 run, but do you play Tetris 99 a lot? I'm gonna say, moving forward, I would say 1 to 2 hours a week is how much I would expect to see Tetris 99. I like it as a gap filling game, and I think it's a really fun stream starting game. If you don't know what else you're gonna play to start the stream, you're like, you know what? Let's start it with a little Tetris. It gets the conversation flowing. You know, if you win a game, you can put you in a nice mood for the rest of the day. It's good. You're pretty good considering you don't play that much. Oh, thank you. I mean, I think there was a period of my life where... I mean, the game's about 2 years old now, I think. I played pretty much exclusively Tetris and Slay the Spire in my downtime for, at least 3 or 4 months. So... I got a lot of muscle memory, I guess. Gets the people going, man. Okay, we've made it to the womb. What the heck are you? What the heck is even that? Oh, I mean, Slay the Spire is actually one of the best games ever made. Did you not see when I wrote it in my Steam review? One of the best designed games of all time. I've never played a deck builder. You know what? Like, I also had never played a deck builder until Slay the Spire, I think. Which I honestly think is why it took me so long to learn some of the mechanics in Slay the Spire. Because I genuinely, like, I didn't understand the concept of removing cards. For 200 episodes, I was like, why would you ever remove a card? Sure, Strike's not that good, but it's better than drawing nothing, which is not the way that it works at all. But in my head, I was like, remove a good thing. Are you crazy? What you gotta realize is that good things are, like, bad as well. if you're not going... If they don't actively, like, contribute to your win condition, they are, they're bad. We'll give it a try here. Well, yeah, I don't really consider, like, Magic a deck builder. But if you want, like, the deck building aspect of Magic, like, is the same thing, you know? I was one of those guys who, like... I was like, why would you... I mean, I just net decked eventually. But when it came time to, like, design my own deck, I'm like, you know, why would I ever use a 60-card deck? When instead I could put, like, 100 cards that all... Like, more cards is good, right? Like, you're only inhibiting yourself if you only put 60 cards in your deck. When in reality, you're like, man, if I could make a deck that only had, like, 6 cards in it and keep drawing them, I would probably, like, never lose again. Mining Beck coins? You mining net decks? There's a Yu-Gi-Oh deck with 2,000 cards in it. Commander is the worst Magic format. Look, hey, you're not gonna get a lot of love for saying that, but I actually think that I kind of agree. And I'll tell you why. I know why people like Commander. You know, it's a little less try-hardy, it's a little bit more fun, there's room for creativity, there's table politics and stuff like that where you can, you know... yeah, it's more casual. Like, I get that, but at the same time, anytime I have played a game of Commander, it's lasted like hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Somebody's Commander deck just pops off, and then, you know, you're there for like... And then sometimes, like, especially in 4-player Commander, you might get eliminated, like, within an hour, and then, like... 2 Sweat Lords go toe-to-toe for the next 3 or 4 hours. You're just sitting there looking at your phone. It's not my cup of tea. I know if you're into it, you're into it, but... It's not my... I much prefer limited, yeah. I'm like, you know, my favorite form of Magic, for sure, 100%, is sealed. The downside is that sealed is insanely expensive. If you want to play a lot. But it, like, when we used to play Magic, like, occasionally we'd go to PAX or something, and PAX used to have a big, like, Magic the Gathering connection. You could go over there and play sealed, and then, you know, you get to keep your cards. I mean, you do in draft as well, but I don't mind draft either, but I don't know, something, I like sealed. I don't know what to say. Please don't hurt me. I'm not dead. I lived. Yeah, draft also is like... Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's way sweatier. Yeah, we didn't know. We didn't buy a case of Conspiracy. It's actually funny to me how much, like, the culture has changed a little bit around collectible card games. Because now people are like... They're opening NBA Top Shots and... You know, they're buying cases of Pokemon cards and, like, opening them on Twitch. Which I watch, by the way, occasionally, if Sinvicta's doing it. But, like, back in the day, we bought a box of Conspiracy. And there were people that were like losing their minds. They were like, why would you buy an entire box of Magic cards? Now I think like we were just a little, we were ahead of the curve. We weren't the first people to do like pack openings. But I think now, like if we had started doing them in like 2020, they would have popped off a little bit more. People love like simulated gambling. So someone in chat when we were playing 2K, they called it adult peekaboo, and I was like, you got it exactly right. It literally is adult peekaboo. I don't know what it says about the human condition, but like, even watching, if somebody was playing a game I will never play in my entire life, but they were opening packs and they got like a 1 in, 500 legendary or something like that, I would be like, this is the greatest content I've ever seen. I know I'm never gonna touch the card, and you might not even play the game, you might just be a collector, but just seeing somebody open it, I'd be like, this is amazing. Cardboard crack. It's another good euphemism, I think, for sure. Dude, this room is like, it's a bit of a mess, huh? We don't need to kill all the red blood cells. We just need to kill all the enemies. There we go. All the other enemies, I should say. If you don't get it, honestly, you should count yourself lucky, I think. I think you're better off that way. Okay, this would be an amazing time for an incredible deal with the devil. Somehow we're still alive. I don't like our odds long term, but I know I've said it before. I actually feel like Magic is like, it's one of the best designed games in history. I know I just said that about Slay the Spire, but those are like two of the only games I say it about. But like, Magic is an unbelievable game. There's so many mechanics, so much strategy at play, etc., etc. Yeah, getting mana screwed does suck. Like, that's, I'll give Hearthstone, like, I'll give Hearthstone some credit, because not getting mana screwed is a great design decision. I don't know, probably like 10% of games get decided by like who draws lands. And then people will have the audacity to say things like, well, you should have put, that's why you gotta put 18 lands in instead of 17. Don't. We lived. Or if, yeah, the alternative, if you draw nothing but land, is also really bad. But, the problem I have with Magic the Gathering, and it's, if you get the right group, it's totally fine. But, like, Magic is just, the community at large was kind of unpleasant and sweaty for me. Online, I like it as well. But I don't play it on Twitch too much because I don't know. People don't like watching me play it too much to begin with, and then, of course, the backseating gets a little much sometimes, and, it's just, it's not part of my brand. Let's put it that way. Uh-oh, are you invincible until I kill the eyeballs, maybe? There you go. I should have figured that one out a little faster. But, I just, it's partially, because I know what you're thinking, but it's partially, like, a certain degree of, like, social unpleasantness, where, like, there's, like, I mean, let me just put it this way. There's arguments, like, at least when I was in the Magic community, there were arguments over all the time over whether or not you should have to say good game when you finish a game. And you're like, really? Like, because when I go to Friday Night Magic, it's literally like people my age who look like me, and you're gonna argue online over whether you should say, like, I don't want to say good game because I leave it all out on the table, and if they lucked into a victory, I don't want to say good game because they didn't play a good game. I'm just like, it's your friggin' Friday night, weirdo. Just, if you're not having fun, like, just, why are you being so weird about it? At least, okay, thanks to the pandemic, you don't have to shake hands anymore. So that, look, sometimes you die, you know, or you lose in Magic, and you're a little salty. Okay, get over it. You go, good game, and then you move on, because you're not playing, like, you know, for keeps. Even if you said bad game, or let me rephrase, even if you had a bad game, here's my personal take, at least. What I should suggest is, the number of times it happens too, and people do it when they win, is like, as soon as they lose, they're like, boy, if on the third draw, if I'd gotten Nebuchadnezzar Commander, you would have gotten, but I kept drawing, and that's fine. Like, I don't want to, nobody, after they win something and they're like feeling good, wants to hear like, oh, you only won because like variance screwed me. Like, you're 30 years old, get over yourself. It's a game. And then, like, similarly, if you won, you gotta be gracious when you win. You know, don't go like, I wish that, you know, oh man, like, wait, I thought about telling you that you misplayed there, but then I decided, no, I'll just take the win, and then I'll tell him after. And you're like, okay, thanks, I really appreciate it. I gotta go back and see my wife now. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. We were playing in the 1-win, 2-loss division, by the way, so, like, I wish you the best of luck on winning 0 prizes, because we're mathematically eliminated from prize contention, but, and then, like, that's one thing, is just, like, occasionally getting sucked into a lot of conversations that I found uncomfortable and was just going, although I met some cool people through Magic, too, I will admit. And you know, people we even, like, had over at points. But then, secondarily, people that it was just like, you know, you show up for, like, Wednesday night draft, and you're like, oh, this will be fun for, like, a couple of hours. And then, you know, you're just sitting there with people who are, they start having why did you pass on the Stilted Commander? Who passed on the Stilted Commander as pick 8, pack 2? And you're like, oh god, this is gonna be a long night, isn't it? Oh yeah, I passed on it. Dude, you didn't even Luis Scott Vargas gave it a 4-star, and it's at the common level. Are you crazy? Like, why did you pass that up? I snapped that up in 2 seconds, and you're just like, just hi, I'm Ryan. What's your name? Like, can we just start there instead of this? It's a $15 draft, man, and you drove up here in a plaid Tesla S. Like, why are you being so weird about it? Can't we just be friends and play cards? Like, you're cutting into the ability for me to bond here. Win the Super Bowl and drive off in a Hyundai. But chess is definitely the same way. I mean, I said it to Levy, like, every YouTuber gets, like, negative comments, and Levy gets a bunch, because he's got a very strong personality. But I laugh. Sometimes the chess community is weirder than most, and when I see some of the stuff that they say about Levy, I'm just like, man, it's so good. I like that Levy doesn't take it too seriously. I know chess is full of weirdos, because I play it. But also, I've told you many times about, like, when I was in a chess club as a youngster. There's a lot of, like, normal people, and then there's a lot of, like, really, like, not well-adjusted middle-aged people, who, like, I mean, I told you, like, the story when I was playing in that tournament, and the guy hung, like, his knight or something like that, and then he just got up and said, I don't even know why I show up to this stuff, and just left, and I had to wait for the clock to tick down in order to get my win. Like, he didn't get disqualified for saying that to, like, a 12 to 13-year-old kid. He got disqualified because it was like, oh, looks like 1-0 for white here. Black ran out of time. All right. We got a chance. We got a chance. Baby Crater. I don't know. There's a shot here. There's a shot. What about that dude who stood up the whole time? I'm willing to give him, like, a little credit, because literally that was a tournament I played with, like, other 13-year-olds. So, like, you know, he was just a kid. I was just a kid, he was just a kid. Kate has way worse Magic stories as well. Like, Oh, dude, the gauze could keep us alive. Because, like, for Kate, you know, is that... And, you know, I don't know if it's changed. I know there's a lot of, like... I mean, I would feel crappy if, like, I was working for Magic and people were like, Magic has, like, a problem with women. When there's a lot of, like, full-time, you know, female content creators in the Magic community, I'm sure. Oh, dude, we got a pop-up shop. But definitely, like, you know, she had a lot of experiences where people would be like, oh, you know, like... She would overhear people, like, after a game and be like... They'd be like, oh, I can't believe, like, I lost to that girl and stuff like that. And you're like, yikes. Yikes, weirdo. I can't believe that you didn't beat her either, because your wallet is attached to a chain that's attached to your freaking belt. So if, you know, honestly, I got a lot of faith in my wife, but if I had to bet on that match, I probably would have bet on guy with the wallet chain to win the Magic the Gathering match. But, you know, life will surprise you sometimes. That's the beautiful thing about it. But yeah, and I mean, like, so it didn't happen all the time, but, you know, you're playing a hobby that you're supposed to, like, have fun with, and then, you know, maybe 1 out of 10 times you hear something like that, but the other 9 out of 10, you're, like, worried that something like that's gonna happen, and then you're like, it really saps your enjoyment, right? Oh, no! I got a Gimpy paid out. Gimpy paid out. There's a lot of, like, awkward experiences, too. Like, I remember we played in a tournament once, and, you know, there were, like, little kids in the tournament, like 10-year-olds. And Kate said, you know, like, she was playing against... It was a game day, which is, like, a scheduled event in the Magic community. And Kate played against one of the 10-year-olds, and the 10-year-old, like, was cheating. And she had to go through in her head, like, do I really want to, like, go talk to the admin and be like, hey, I'm playing against, like, a 5th grader, and I think they cheated, and, like, we're gonna make it, like, a whole big thing just to... And then it's like, because there's a playmat at stake. Like, if you do well, you get a playmat. And then you're like, well, it would teach the kid a lesson, maybe. Or maybe I would look like the sore loser that can't handle losing to, like, a little kid. But then, like, do I really want, like, my Saturday to be, like, getting involved in this, like, kid's upbringing that I really, like, will never see again in my entire life? Like, it's just a... You just take the L, kind of, unfortunately. It's just weird, man. And it can happen in anything. Like, you know, it can happen in any hobby, but... You know, it's just... I don't think it happens as much in every hobby. Yeah, you get a whole Curb Your Enthusiasm season out of these Magic anecdotes. It's not the game's fault, right? Like, it's the same as anything. You know, the game is just the game. But the culture that's been created surrounding the game over years and years and years and years has served the purpose for a certain chunk of the population, but as a result of that kind of like insular situation, it also makes it inaccessible to some people. Like a lot of people involved in Magic are, you know, very anti-outsiders. Let's put it that way. But then the other thing is, I've genuinely met, like, a lot of normal, fun people in Magic. And you would think that they would be, like, the worst players. Sometimes they were. Like, most of the great experiences I had at, like, Friday Night Magic were after I went, like, 0-3. And my opponent didn't just dip to get all-you-can-eat sushi after the 3rd round because they had no chance to win a prize. They showed up and went like, you know what? Let's just, like, let's see how your deck's garbage, my deck's garbage. Let's see how it goes, you know? But there were a lot of the, like, really well-adjusted Magic players were also, like, very good. A lot of the normies were routinely playing for like the top Friday Night Magic prize. It's hilarious though, you know, when you round 4. Sometimes you go to round 4 and you're playing against somebody else who just had a bad week, and then sometimes it's like someone who doesn't even have like their cards and sleeves, and like they just bought packs that day, and you're like, oh man, I've been reading the meta for all weekend. And I have going up against somebody who was like, yeah, I'm running blue-green just because I thought it would be cool, like water animals. And you're like, I have a blue-black aristocrat deck that I learned from SCG Atlanta. It went top 8 at SCG Atlanta. And then you freaking lose. We won, by the way. We won with the Fiend. I don't believe it. And I told you, I freaking told you, we need Holy Mantle. Holy Mantle got it done. We might have gotten it done with the other one as well, but what's hilarious is that probably like doesn't even seem like it was that hard, but I promise you that was actually like a genuine accomplishment. So hit me with a slash marker, Fiend